Hello there, my crafty friends. It's Ashley Pfeiffer, the maker behind Stamped AF. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Canada. And for September's InstaHop, and if you're not familiar with what InstaHop is, you need to head on over to my Instagram at Stamped AF and check it out. So this was my project. Our topic this month, or our theme, was leaves and or foliage. So I used like every paper that I have. Kidding. I used the Celebration item, the Bedazzling paper. Like, hello, beautiful. Some of the brushed metallic. I've got some soft suede cardstock, some of the gold shimmer vellum, and I'm telling you, it does the catalog, anything, pictures do not do it justice. You need this. More of the brushed metallics right here. And then we've got some of the brushed metallic dots, which kind of look like hardware on here, don't they? So this is a candle box. And if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I don't want to go to the mall. Bath & Body Works doesn't deliver in Canada. So my local drugstore had these candles, and I will tell you, this one does not smell like maple or chai. It's a very like musky scent. So I don't love this one. But I wanted a box, and this is a 7-ounce candle, so I think Bath & Body Works might fit. Now, it's not the sturdiest box you've ever seen, but it's a gift box. So you're going to put it in a gift bag or something, right? So I thought this time, because I got a different candle, which smells like fall in a jar, it's pumpkins and gourds, I thought we're going to use some Cajun Craze, and we're going to use gorgeous leaves. I'm not going to use DSP this time. But if you want the dimensions, if you want to be able to do the dimensions, the DSP yourself, it is 2 5/8 by 3.5. And you're going to want 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the top, I've got some brushed metallic on there, is 2 5/8 by 2 5/8. And then the DSP is, it is just shy of 2 3/8. So that is the measurements for that. And I do have a template, but it's currently just in pencil and it's just really hard to see. So I am going to take it and Adobe-fy it, whether I do it in InDesign or Photoshop or, I don't know, Canva maybe. I will share this on my blog so that you can download it. Because this is such a big candle, I mean, it's not a big candle, because we're making this size box, we need a little bit more than an 8.5 by 11 sheet. Now, 8.5 by 11 is the full size of the box. We are using from edge to edge, edge to edge. But we need a couple of scraps to be able to add some Frankenstein bits, if you will. So most boxes would have a 1/2 inch flap where you attach it. Well, this box has kind of a makeshift little flap because these pieces touch, but there's no overlap. And then for the lid, I ran out of room. It's edge to edge, right? So I made a little Frankenstein flap for that. We should be doing a Halloween box, a Frankenstein candle box. So I thought we'd also use the gorgeous leaves and we'd do some stamping on here instead of the DSP. I don't know if I said that already, but if you're new here, welcome. I am the equivalent of Dory. My memory is awful. So I apologize right off the hop. But let's start with our 11-inch side. We are going to start by scoring it at 8 1/4. And I feel like I did this project so long ago that I'm really relying on my template. So 8 1/4, 5 1/2, and 2 3/4. And then on the top side, we are scoring it at 5 3/4 and 2 inches for the bottom. On my original box and on a sample that I just made, take 1 of this video, I cut my flaps exactly as I did on my sample. For the top, we are going to stick with that. However, I might actually leave a little bit more than this 1/2 inch that we have. But for the bottom, I'm not going to cut any of the flaps off because It doesn't end up meeting at the bottom, so I had to put in a square to cover and to add some strength. I don't know how well you can see that. And I also had to add a square on the bottom. So we're gonna leave those bottom flaps together. We may still have to add a square, but let's see how this goes. So what we need to do now is cut up to those score lines. And I prefer to do this with my trimmer. If you prefer using scissors, you do you. What I do is I go about as far as I think it's going to be, and then kind of just work my way up, because you can always snip a little bit. You can't put it back together. So that was lucky. Felt like I went over the line. Okay, so err on the side of caution and just keep them longer than you think you should. So I'm going to fold the first and the third ones down, and we're going to create our flap. So let's leave it at 1 inch this time. So yoink. And now with this flap, we're going to cut that one right off. So instead of trying to fuss around those ones, let's just get them out of the way. Now you do need to be careful that you're not cutting the edge of these folds. And if you have any little fuzz there, just take a nail buffing block and buff them away. Okay, so there we go. We are going to miter those edges. We're going to leave the top as is because that's the lid. Let's just take a little slice of pie out of each of these tabs. And if you are new to box making or treat holders or maybe even paper crafting, the reason that we miter is to make for a nice smooth box so that there's no lumps and bumps. This makes for a very professional looking box. I do wish we had a tool to do this. It is easier to do big tabs like this with longer scissors, but I'm using what I got. Stampin' Up! Does have paper snips, which are incredible. They are very sharp and wonderful. Pause for a second. We're going to leave this flap as is because this is the bottom one. So if you look at the template, we are mitering this one, and this one. We're leaving this one alone. Okay. And true to my word, I'm Dory. I totally forgot what I was just talking about. Oh, paper snips. So I love them. I have them, but they are too sharp for me. I'm a bit of a klutz, and if I use snips, I would probably impale myself because they are that sharp. These ones are kind of like safety scissors. I got them online a couple years ago. My little rainbow scissors. So yeah, snips are like adult scissors. I'm using safety scissors. So that is our box. Now, before I start assembling it, I'm going to do some stamping because on the last one I forgot and I put it all together. And then I didn't like how it looked, so I trashed it and deleted the video. Let's be real, right? So one of the scraps that we need is 1.5 by 3 5/8. And you might notice I've got a score line on there, so I don't want to keep that in there. But 3 5/8 by 1.5. And then we are going to score it in the middle. And an easy way to see what the middle is to kind of play with it back and forth. Eyeball it to see what you think is center. And if you can see, I'm lined up with a 3/4 inch mark on the left and 3/4 inches on the right. So if I keep that at 3/4 of an inch, I am perfectly centered. So let's do that. And then in the same way that we mitered those tabs, we're going to miter this edge because this is going to be going on the inside and it has the potential to touch the top and bottom of the box, and we don't want that. Okay, and now we need a lid flap. So remember I said we were going edge to edge? This is my little flap for the lid. So we just need like a 1/2 inch score line there. So our lid is 1.5. This is, this one is the bottom of the box. So this is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. I'm sure we're still gonna need it. And then I've got a piece here. Nope. So I have 2 11/16, which is basically between 2 5/8 and 2 3/4. We are going to keep this at 2 3/4 because I noticed on the last one, it doesn't need to be that wide, it just needs to be 1.5. I noticed on the last box, it didn't go all the way to the edge and it looked funny. And we know that our box is 2 3/4 square, right? So let's set ourselves up for success and have it go right to the edge. If it doesn't reach, or if it's too long, sorry, we can trim it off. Now let's take a little piece out of the part of the lid that's going to tuck in. If you can hear that, that is my son very dramatically sneezing. It's fall. He is allergic to like everything. Okay, so I'm gonna move all my scraps out of the way and know that these are the pieces that I need. And gorgeous leaves. So this is a gorgeous stamp set. It has no sentiments, so you can use whatever sentiments you want. We are going to put in, there are some gorgeous textures in here. We've got this wood grain, we've got these dots, we've got some splatter. I am going to use the leaves and then we'll probably do some splattering on here. But I will mount these on a block and we will, well, 3 blocks, and we will do some tone on tone stamping, meaning that we are going to use Cajun Craze. That was a little close. Now, usually I have small grid paper that I can stamp onto, but I ran out and it's going to be delivered any minute, but that doesn't help me right now. So I'm going to be a big old cheapskate and use one that I was using yesterday. Waste not, want not, right? Another thing that you might be interested to know is you can do that with Stampin Blends as well. So I've got my dark Cajun Craze. I tend to do this with dark only. And you want to be soft with this. You don't want to press too hard. But it gives you an entirely different kind of splatter. And it blends in pretty nice too. Okay, so I have some Cajun Craze ink refill here. And I'm totally ad-libbing here. I wasn't going to do this part, but you deserve to see all of the options. Now that is a lot. I'm going to grab one of the water painters. They used to be aqua painters, and now every time I go to use them, I have to think about the name. So I put a little bit of water in there, and now we're just going to press it against our finger. You can even use the lid. You probably want to have a paper towel or something to protect your workspace. But like I said, I'm ad-libbing and wasn't planning on doing this. Trying not to get it on my sweater. So that is 3 different ways to add splatter. Now, like I said, you can always just use the splatter stamp that's in this set. But how boring would that be? And if you want a bigger splat, just take your brush and add it. We've got a nice big one there. You don't want it to get too predictable though. You don't want someone to be like, oh, well, the next one goes there and there and there. You want it to be, well, I mean, I don't know what you want it to be, but I wouldn't want it to be too predictable. I'm not loving those big dots. So I think I'm gonna call that done. Clean up my mess later. So now what we can do is fold this up. And what we're going to do is add our little Frankenstein flap here. And I am going to use some tear and tape. I find that with liquid glue, it doesn't get, I don't know. Tear and tape is really meant for 3D projects, and I feel like it's going to last forever. So I will run 2 strips here. Probably don't need to, but better to be safe than sorry. one of my biggest concerns is when I give someone something, I don't want it to fall apart. And if you are watching this on the day that it goes live, I've been speaking a lot about adhesive, right? I do have an adhesive share going on, so you can choose from one of the 5 bundles that I've created, or create your own. One of those bundles is create your own. So if there's a just getting started, there's one that's stocking up, there's one that's, if you're using the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, it's fantastic. So it's a great way to stock up on your adhesive. This is only available in Canada and only through me. This isn't a Stampin' Up deal. This is a Ashley deal. Your name will go into the draw for the In Your Words stamp set, which is a host only stamp set, which is only available with a $375 order. And most people aren't placing that much in one order. If you are, you should join Stampin' Up and get your 20% discount. Okay, so now, this is a little awkward, but I'm going to hold that down and just press. And then we know we have a perfectly square box. If you get a little bit of overhang, which we didn't, this like fits like a glove, you could trim it off, but that is looking good. So the only part that I didn't stamp was the lid. Oh, dang it. This is a red rubber stamp, so it's pretty difficult to get lined up again. Okay, I didn't need to stamp that, did I? I could stamp it the other way, but whatever. So you can enter to win that. I also have a 50% off item, and that is only available today, the day that this goes live, Monday, September 13th. So if you place an order, whether it be in my adhesive share or just a qualifying order, which is $60, you not only will you go into the drawing for the 50% off item, you will also get the kit class for my What's Cooking class. Sorry, I can't speak and concentrate at the same time. So remember I said that if we had any extra, we'd cut it off. Easier to do that than to be short and be stuck, right? So let's take a little bit of this off. So bummed that that one didn't turn out well, but c'est la vie. Okay, so I'm gonna go in and just cut that because I know I'm cutting that one edge off. I know this is very disjointed because I have to keep coming back to say what I'm doing and then I go off on a tangent. But my adhesive share is a great deal. It's a great way to stock up. See, I think that's going to be a much better box. Let's miter that one since all of the rest are mitered. If you have any questions, you can email me at stampedaf@gmail.com. You can reach out on Facebook Messenger, Instagram messages, however you message me. Don't miss out on this. And also, if you join my team by the end of September, not only are you choosing $165 worth of Stampin' Up product for $135, through the end of the month, you also get to choose one of 12 bundles for free. And one of the bundles is like $82 before taxes and shipping. So it's a gooder because you can choose that as your freebie. And then if you have lesser priced items, use those with your new discount. Okay, so I'm going to put this back tab down first. You always want the tab at the front to come back last so that it creates a nice clean line. You don't want the other front or the other front. You don't want the back coming up to the front is what I mean. Ooh, I like it. We don't have to add this piece. We could add it on the inside if we want, but leaving those tabs the way they were was a much better idea. Geez, I'm smart on the third time around. Okay, so that is the box. I could totally embellish this. I can add some ribbon, I can add some tags, I can add a million leaves like I did on this one, but I wanted to show you the box, and that is the box. So like I said, I will turn my pencil sketch into an actual template so that you can print it and create this yourself. If you do, I would love to see it. You can email it to me at stampedaf@gmail.com. You can share it in my Facebook page or group. I am trying to transition more to my group so that people see more of my posts, because I share so much and I don't think people are seeing it. So I am trying to transition over to my group. So Stamped AF, if you're not already a member, please join. You don't have to be from Canada to join my group. There's inspiration and all sorts of fun. And that is all. It's been a very chatty video. If you've made it this far, thank you so much. And we'll see you soon, my crafty friends. Bye.